Hello and a big warm welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallard, and in today's video we're going to dive a little bit into bash scripting. Now we want to do things that are practical. We don't just want to echo hello world. So this time we're looking at what I need to do to create a whole load of directories for creating my YouTube videos. I want to create one a week, releasing on Fridays. So I need a bash script that then goes through and creates date-based directories for the next 54 weeks. Come on, let's see how we're going to do this. And here we are. Look at this, the glorious command line, the pixel playground of my Raspberry Pi. Now, as I said, I need to create video directories each week for the next 12 months. Now, of course, I could do this manually, but it's going to be a lot easier if I can script it, and I can show you how easy it is from the command line. We're going to begin with the date command. Now, the date command is never really that useful by itself because it gives me way too much information. But if I drill down and just use date plus %F, you can see then that we get a far better output for a directory or file name. It's going to be organized correctly when we look at the ordering, and it's relatively short. I can also adjust this very easily. If I use date -d and then in quotes 7 days, it's going to add 7 days to our current time. So we can see then that we get back as the 29th of December. We could also, even though I don't need to go backwards, we could use 7 days ago if I wanted to show the date 7 days ago, and we can see that was last Friday, the 15th. So this is going to be the underlying infrastructure that we're going to use within our script. And of course, we are going to script it. So let's go through and open it up in your favorite editor. I just call it viddir.sh. And we can begin with our shebang. So the script interpreter that we want to use, I will probably fire it up directly with bash anyway, but it's always worthwhile putting this shebang in. Next up, we need to specify the top level directory that we're going to store everything in. And I can do that through a variable base _ directory equals, and then I can go through and put the path. So it's going to be on home, pi, and let's call it videos. Don't forget that we never have spaces surrounding the equals when we're assigning values to variables inside of bash. We can grab our current date and time, and we can begin this by populating it with the output of our date plus %F command. So this is the simplest part of our script, where we're just really getting our current date and setting our directory to work with. We can open up our looping structure using the keyword for. We can use I as a temporary variable to iterate through. And we can say that I is going to be in the list 1 through to 54. I'm using 54 instead of 52 weeks because we've got a couple of weeks of this year left to run. Do will then open up my do loop. And I do need the semicolon before the word do. And then we can start putting the meat. We can set the folder name of what we need to create. And that folder name is going to be made up of our base directory variable. And then within that base directory, we want to create a folder or a directory based on the current date. So we can put in our current _ date variable. With that done, we need, of course, to create the directory. And let's just make sure that this is all quoted properly. So I'll have my string for folder name in double quotes. We need the double quotes to expand the $ symbol. mkdir -p to create our directories. And then it's going to be $folder _ name. Now that's the simple bit because, of course, all of that is really hard-coded information, even though we're using variables. So the next bit, we need to increment the current date variable for the next iteration. So we can set our current date to be the output of the date command. Again, we're using -d for our date, but now we have to specify that we want to adjust the current date variable rather than a default, which would be adjusting the actual current date and time. So we can then pull in our variable current_date plus 7 days. So this then is going to increment by 7 days each time we iterate through our loop. We need it, of course, still in our standard format, so our plus and %f, and close off the parentheses. We can then close off our looping structure with the done keyword, and we should be good to go. And we can see we've got something like 10 lines of code there, including a couple of empty lines. So really, there isn't too much for this to do or understand. But let's go through and execute it with our bash command, vidda.sh. And now when we go through and take a look at the contents of our videos directory, tree videos, we can see there that we've got a directory for each Friday of the next year, ending up on the 27th of December 2024. But of course, if we scroll back, we should see that it started from today, the 22nd of December, incrementing to the 29th of December, and then the 5th of January, and so forth. So we've been able to create 54 directories very simply using our script. Now, you might not need the exact same purpose as I've got, but you can take what you've learned and then implement the structure to work for you to help solve problems that you have.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.